Alright guys, happy Monday. You can hear me alright, I can see that. Schedule is a bit different today, which you guys might actually like today. We're starting off with crypto, and this will be a crypto entirely dedicated video. So I'm going to get straight into it. Had this quant distribution, which I pretty much just missed the entry. Yeah, so we had this. Yeah, I can now delete this. There might still be a re-entry opportunity based on what I'm seeing here. Yeah, so we have this Model 2. Really basic Model 2. Tap 1 here. Not the best drawing there. Tap 1 here. Tap 2. Oh, Wyckoff low, sorry. Tap 2. Tap 3 with a perfect sweep of liquidity and perfect mitigation of extreme supply. Return to zone coming into the tap 3 wasn't the best, but context with Bitcoin was okay. Same thing, context was pretty neutral. Honestly, the only thing I did like about this was just the break of structure on the 5-minute was pretty clean. We SFP'd first, but then we broke structure. Came back, but then the follow through here was really, really nice. And essentially, I didn't enter on the break. As you can see, we have 2 levels of supply here. This major supply has obviously been mitigated, so I will adjust this. I really stretched this out a while, eh? I gotta stop stretching these supply zones forever for eternity. But yeah, so this got mitigated really, really nicely and left behind supply of its own. Funnily enough. Like that. So yeah, there's quite a bit of supply left behind here, which shows good signs of weakness that, you know, the market makers are protecting their positions where they've entered on the chart. And yeah, essentially I'm just looking for a local pullback, which so far it looks as if we are getting that, and a nice clean break of structure alongside that local pullback. I have a feeling we have left some form of demand below. Which is it's not. Oh, it is demand. Oh, give me a second. Like, it is demand, as you can see. Where are we? As you can see here, but the 2 candle isn't exactly present on that last bullish candle going up, as you can see right there. Given that, you can still technically chart it on your look, you can use this. I will allow this. It's also to note that demand hasn't necessarily grabbed anything, so it's not that significant. But yeah, I'm only going to look for us to mitigate. I'm only going to look for us to mitigate either or of these supply levels above us, so pay close attention there. Other than that, I'm not too. Yeah, like it's still the model is still at play. Point being, like, we've already broken structure, so just keep an eye out there. Have we broken any other levels of structure? We probably have. In fact, we most certainly have. Okay, we've even broken the hourly, so we've got an hourly break of structure, which is actually quite a convincing break of structure, and it's a clean break of structure. So this hourly break of structure here is really, really good to see. Yeah, other than that, as I said, just wait for the pullback. There's no market structure on the hourly going down, so even if price clears past this level, and it has, it closes it, this is not a break of structure back up. A break of structure back up to bullish on the hourly is a full candle closure above here. So, like, price can come all the way, price can SFP this market structure high. Can wick it and come back down, not close, and that is still trending down. So yeah, there is room for price to go up higher, which is why I'm looking for a more refined entry here on Quant. So yeah, just still keep an eye out for that. Let's look at Bitcoin. Has not mitigated that demand that we marked out locally, and as you did see, or you would have seen on Saturday's stream, price has left behind a nice buy side liquidity trail, which so far is looking to get taken out. Like you can see, we've already started moving up, weakening it. So I do expect us to hit this 78k mark at some point, or 78 point, just around or just under 78.2k. So definitely keep an eye out for that in the short or long term. I'm going to chart this up just in case, see what happens here. See if we do come back down. What do we grab? Other than that, not much to do here for BTC. Let's have a look at USDT dominance. We've obviously left clean supply above. Like I guess look for that to get mitigated. It's probably the best thing I can say. This has been mitigated from here, but it hasn't been mitigated from here. So yeah, just stay patient there. Yeah, not a whole lot to do for USDT dominance at the moment. You're just monitoring levels, monitoring the lows, this demand here, and monitoring this supply above. So yeah, kind of ranging at the moment for USDT dominance. ETH as well, some form of range here. I'm happy to draw a range from here. And potentially we do something like this. So we will see what happens there. Alerts, just making sure they are set. And yeah, we are expecting overall. It was just never a confirmed range, if that makes sense. So but we are trending downwards, so I do expect us to go lower, and this distribution could be the perfect pullback plus the follow through there. So we'll see what happens there. Asta had this fairly valid move. Yeah, valid tap 3. Sweeping extreme liquidity and mitigating extreme supply. Was it a quality tap 3? No. The reason being is that it left quite a bit of demand below, so in a real time it would not have been it would not have been advisable to enter there just because of all the demand below, which is why I did not enter. I would definitely be willing to, we've obviously mitigated this refined area, so the refined demand has been mitigated. Not as interested on this anymore that much. I'll still leave it there, but just knowing that this was the whole refined area that was representing this whole major demand below it, and this has been mitigated, that's kind of like the biggest sort of block, if you want to think of it that way, that's been removed or destroyed. So now price has a much more cleaner move down. What would make me really enter is if we not necessarily come back. I'm happy that we've mitigated this, but we just continue going higher and higher and higher, and eventually making this a model 1, deviating this high, making a tab 3 as a model 1 convincing break, and then I expect us to maybe pull back a little bit from this demand and then eventually just flush down. So that is kind of my idea here for Asta. I'm just going to continue to monitor this. I'll set an alert right here, and other than that, yeah, just practicing the aim of the game, which is patience. All this has been mitigated, as you can see. So yeah, at the moment, there's not much demand, to be honest. It's all kind of been mitigated. Unless we have this as demand, which I'm very interested to see if it is overlapping. But I have a feeling even if it is overlapping, it would have been mitigated. Okay, it's not actually valid overlapping structure because we don't have the 6 candle rule. Shouldn't be calling it a 2 candle rule. That can throw people off. Yeah, so far based on price action, we still can come up and create that tab 3 from a model 1 perspective. So just be patient there and see what happens. Otherwise, if we reverse, you can technically use this as a POI, and I will allow that. I will very much so allow that. I will not count this as a mitigation. I would like something cleaner. Yeah, so this supply here, you can call this market maker supply, has not been mitigated. I did say that I'll look at this from a model 1 perspective if we can come up, but if we mitigate this really cleanly and create a really clear and decisive break of structure back down, I'm happy to enter on the extended tap. Yeah, because this is therefore market maker supply, which is supply created from a confirmed tab 3. And if this gets mitigated, then that further showcases that, yes, the market maker does want to keep price away from his position, and he will do that by whatever it takes. So, yeah, if the break of structure is clean, then you know that there's a market maker behind you, which will most likely push price down, with or without this demand being below, especially that the refine area has been mitigated already. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye out for a clean mitigation, and we will see how we go. Doge, let's have a look. Doge is looking to go lower and lower. from a local standpoint, it's not really doing a whole lot. I am going to use this as a range. Supply is up here. This has been mitigated. This has not. So we will see what happens here. It's like borderline just been confirmed the range, so it's still quite a bit of time for this to develop, especially we're on the 45 minutes, so we'll probably get some sort of development early tomorrow. Let's have a look at Binance. Similar story to a slightly higher time frame. Supply above. We're forming some form of range, which I don't like. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for a much more cleaner move up and a mitigation of ideally the supply level. So far the plan for Binance remains the same. Just be patient. All right. Yeah, not much more to do. Alerts are still set. Quant, which we looked at. I'm still monitoring for a tap in here, very similar to, where were we, to Doge? No, Asta, sorry. Very similar to Asta, it's a confirmed model, but we are looking for that extended tap. Preferably if we can mitigate some of this demand below, that would be nice, but if we don't, we don't. As I've said, it's not the cleanest demand, but it is demand, so we are using it as that. Oh, there you go, it's technically clean structure demand on the 1 minute, maybe even on the 2 minute. Clean structure demand on the 2 minute as well. If we can mitigate this demand and slowly move up and then break the structure for that extended tap, which didn't draw quite nicely, but it should not deviate. It should not be deviating this. You should not be going higher than this. And that is a valid extended tap. So that is the plan of attack there. Once again, just practice patience. Should be a motto, that one. JPP, just practice patience, guys. Rinse that shit. Just practice patience. All right, with memory, there was not a whole lot going on at the moment, and that remains. Not too interested in this. Like you can look at it like this. And there probably is some demand here. Which has ever so slightly been mitigated. The return to zone is not the worst, to be honest. It really isn't. We've mitigated all this supply. I think the break obstruction here would have been pretty clean as well, just by looking at this. Where did we break structure? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Maybe in here somewhere. Right here, potentially. Yeah. That's your break of structure right there. Was it Val on the 5? No. So yeah, you could have literally ended here. Bam. And you would get a potentially a 6.7 risk to reward entry. I'm just trying to have a look at that market maker demand, which is valid because it has not been mitigated. Right here. Boom. Same thing, another reverse extended model at play. If we get a pullback into here, I will happily long, given the return to zone is clean, of course. And just to confirm, contextually speaking, we are in a downtrend for USDT dominance. So we are trending down, therefore obviously you can expect alts to go higher. Therefore on the short term, this little accumulation here is very valid. So we will see what happens there. Yeah, really clean break of structure in there, eh? Nice. Perfect mitigation of demand. Like, there's nothing wrong with this. There is not one thing wrong with this. When did we break structure is my question. Should I have been paying attention here? This morning at 8, I would have been driving to work. Good to know. Alright, let's have a look at it. Yeah, we'll move this up. We'll move our boy whiff up. Maybe we get that extended tap. So let's have a look at XMR. Not a whole lot. We're just ripping through supply at the moment. Yeah, not much to do here, to be honest. And we're also leaving buy side as well, so just be aware there. Sol Lana. Sol Llama. I did draw this, but I just don't like how deep this pullback is, or this deviation is. Therefore, I'm not too interested in it, to be completely honest. As much as right now the return to zone looks nice. And we can very much be completing the... I'll be hitting the range high. This deviation is just way too far out of the deviation limit, which I do not like. Yeah, I'm just going to leave SOL as is. This is almost done. Maybe you might catch one last pullback. Maybe. There's your tap 2, there's your tap 3. Like, contextually, yes, you are in a pro-confirm move. It has grabbed extreme liquidity, which is something you should just be aware of. This as well has been mitigated right there. Anything refined? You know what? We do have refined supply, which is valid. And probably has not been mitigated, I would think. Not yet. So yeah, I'll just be a bit careful with shorting this, because you do have overlapping structure supply. Like, by the looks of it, it will probably get mitigated quite soon, so we'll see what happens there. Other than that, what is there more reason for price to come back up? Not really. Like, this supply's been mitigated. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of reason for price to come back up. Not at all. So we could be at a potential short opportunity here. So we will see what happens there. I wouldn't necessarily count this as demand. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I'll push this up as well. Let's have a look at XRP. Nothing interesting in XRP at all. Like, not at all. Maybe you can get a scalp here, but I wouldn't counter look at all these highs. Low high, 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 low high. Like, all these are just ready to get swept, so on second thoughts, not really a smart option to start during a distribution there. Also considering that USDT is in a current hourly downtrend at the moment, so that is food for thought. Could be a range here on Pepe, maybe. This supply has been swept, as you can see. The only thing I would like is probably more, some form of mitigation here. Which so far we have not really received. It's obviously valid on the lower time frames and the higher time frames that it is clean demand. Like, it's grabbed extreme liquidity, which is, it's ran through demand. This was liquidity. Which was to be and is to be considered extreme liquidity. That's valid. But from a tap 3, we've obviously deviated. If this had been an official tap 3, then we've deviated it, so it's no longer a correct tap 3. So that goes to show that this extreme demand is the only correct last remaining POI of a Model 2, of a potential tap 3 from a Model 2 perspective. So I'm only going to look for a mitigation here, otherwise not really interested. Hype looking, I'm seeing some local exhaustion. This could be good because you are in this high time frame distribution, so you're expecting this to be a deviation and you're expecting to go lower. Therefore, if you're expecting to go lower, this can be a potential model. Very good. Is there demand below? Yes. Do I want there to be demand below? No. Does this align with anything? Yes, it does. There might even be overlapping demand, and if there is, then you have to really be careful there. It's not clean. The 6 candle rule isn't valid, so technically speaking, this has been mitigated. But we can showcase where the inefficiency is from. Yeah, so this is pretty heavy demand, to be honest. Oh, somewhat. We've also got... Yeah, I'll just be very careful. We're probably going to sweep this extreme liquidity. I would just be very careful in regards to how we break structure if we do. There's still demand below. So there's a lot of reasons for price to be still going higher. Like, you've got demand here. Yeah, I'm not really liking this hype distribution. It's not the cleanest, so I will move on and leave that as is. Fartcoin, I wouldn't look at this from an accumulation perspective just because this is completing our higher time frame local distribution range. So just be careful there, trying to long something that's just about to hit or has just hit range low, because there can be a lot of volatile moves here. You could sweep and come back up, or you can just get a full run or full continuation down. And from a local perspective, nothing really. And there's also no, if you're going to use this as an accumulation, there is no return to zone here whatsoever, so not really interested here. XLM, I can see it, strong demand already. Nothing really to chart here other than this demand. TON, we have obviously swept through all this. Nothing really to do with TON other than I'm just expecting us to continue lower into this supply, into this demand, sorry. Sorry, I said supply because I was looking at this supply here. That doesn't necessarily mean this is going to get mitigated just yet. We can just continue going lower into this demand first and then maybe come up. There's also no real POI here. Like you kind of have this. But as you can see, we have gone lower, much lower. Pump. Pump is not doing a whole lot at the moment. I am happy to look at this as a range, given time displacement adheres to my standards. Do think there is some form of demand in here, and there it is. That is very much so valid. So once again, we need a clean return to zone in here before I look at anything, and at the way this is moving, I don't think we're going to get that opportunity. We have about 5 days, 7 hours and 30 minutes from tap 1 to 2, and 5 days, 7 hours. We'll say, yeah, 5 days, 7 hours. We've got until 28th of May at about 11:30, so I'll put my little drawing there. 28th of May. At about 11:30, given we stay within the range. Tau had that compression, fake move, first move, then move down. Textbook range, or textbook compression price action there. So that's nice, some liquidity here. Not a whole lot to do at the moment for Tau. I'm not too caught up in anything here. We'll keep moving. What has Hype done? Oh yes. Of course. It has just made a local model here, which looks alright. We'll see how it breaks this market structure low. You just have to be aware there is so much demand below. Market structure low on the 1 minute. Virtual we were up to. Supply has been mitigated and now we're creating more buy side liquidity. So not a whole lot here. And we do have some demand below. Render is looking okay. To an extent. What do I not like about this is the demand that's just here. I am not a fan of this. We are also very close. It's just not a clean range regard. Like it's a range, but it's not the type of range we like. I do think we're going to go higher and potentially make a Model 1. This isn't really, like, honestly, it's not really valid supply. Like, it's probably some sort of valid supply in 30-second, but not even. It's just terrible. So I'm not too much of a fan using this as supply, and you've also got liquidity above, so I do think this will get swept. Hence why I am much more leading towards a tablet. Hence why I'm much more leading towards a Model 1 from a Tab 3 perspective. But that doesn't mean I don't like this range. I don't mind it. Yes, there's a bit of demand, but let's see how we get the return to zone coming into this potential Tab 3, sweeping these double highs or equal highs, and then let's see how the break of structure is. If we sweep these highs nicely and then we have a convincing break of structure, then I'm just going to enter and I'll just monitor for reverses around here. So if we're trending down and then we get a break of structure back up upon mitigating this demand, that will be my sign to de-risk. So this can still be at play. We'll move that towards the top. Let's see what Cake is doing. Cake may have just had its confirmed Tapper 3, which I'm happy to allow. You do have liquidity below, and you've even got some more demand below. So I will be interested to see if we get a revisit here, but if we don't, that's fine. All supply here has been mitigated, so there's nothing really holding price from just completing this range, to be completely honest with you. So we will set our alerts and see what happens. Okay, moved Cake up. We have had a look at all these. Aave, not a whole lot. Yeah, not really interested in Aave. I feel like there is a lot of liquidity above here, which I feel like might get taken out. So we will see. There's still supply above. Sui as well. It's not really doing much. Yeah, I'm glad the alert's gone off now. Yeah. Not really a fan of the price action here, so I'm gonna leave it as is. Link still in play. I don't know why that's actually at the bottom, but quite some nice liquidity below. Let's move that towards the top. Nothing changes there. And Bitcoin Cash is just continuing this confirmed distribution we've had for a while, so good job if you are still holding there. Price is looking good to be going into your desired direction. Trump, not a whole lot. Brett is looking ass. Yeah. Maybe this should be a local model, if anything. You might get a push up to here, but we'll see. Yeah, other than that, yeah, to be honest, like other than that, I don't know why I sound like, oh, other than that, but there's a lot of movements that we should be looking out for. Look for a extended tap on Asta. Look for an extended tap on WIF. Look for Render to become a Model 1. Look for an extended tap on Cake. Litecoin as well. Just look for a nice mitigation of this supply and a break. We'll see what happens there. And then all these others are kind of just stick to the plan for now. See what happens. And yeah, I will be doing a Forex market check as well shortly. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And yeah, thank you all for watching. I will see you all soon and take care. Peace.